The first time I realised my stepdaughter wanted me gone, I was holding a crumpled note I'd found in our mailbox. 7 words, unsigned. He deserves better than you. The paper trembled in my hands as I stood in our dimly lit foyer, the echo of Steve's gentle snoring drifting down from upstairs. My name is Michaela, and 6 months ago I married the kindest man I've ever known. Steve and I met at an art gallery opening where I was showcasing some of my students' work. He lingered by a particularly chaotic finger painting, and I couldn't help but notice his warm smile as he studied it. "My late wife was an art teacher," he said when I approached. "She would have loved this." That should have been my first warning. Not his honesty about Sarah, but the way he spoke about her in present tense. Still, we connected instantly. Coffee turned into dinner, dinner into weekend trips, and suddenly I found myself saying yes to a proposal under the stars at the same gallery where we'd met. "Dad, seriously?" Samara's voice had cut through our engagement announcement dinner like a knife wrapped in silk. "It hasn't even been 2 years. Sweetheart, I'll always love your mother," Steve had assured her, reaching across the table. "But Michaela makes me happy. I thought you'd understand." Samara's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Of course, Daddy. I just want what's best for you." I should have recognized the threat in those words. The wedding was intimate, my choice, though Samara later told relatives I'd insisted on excluding family. I noticed her filming parts of the ceremony on her phone, but I was too caught up in the moment to wonder why. The first real incident came 3 weeks after the honeymoon. I was making breakfast when Steve came downstairs, already dressed for brunch. "You're not ready?" he asked, adjusting his tie. "Ready for what? The family brunch? At Cecilia's?" His brow furrowed. "Samara said she told you about it last week." I set down my coffee mug. "This is the first I'm hearing about it." "That's impossible. She specifically said—" He pulled out his phone, scrolling through messages. "She must have forgotten. I'm sure it wasn't intentional." "Steve, we can wait while you get dressed." "No," I forced a smile. "You go. I have lesson plans to work on anyway." He kissed my cheek, promising to bring me leftovers. As soon as the door closed, I checked my phone. No messages from Samara, no emails, no calls. That evening, I confronted her at the local coffee shop where she'd agreed to meet. Her perfectly manicured nails wrapped around her iced latte as she blinked at me innocently. "Oh my God, I could have sworn I told you. I feel terrible." She leaned forward. "You're not upset, are you? It was just a silly oversight." "Hush, Samara, if you have a problem with me." "A problem?" She laughed, the sound like wind chimes in a storm. "Why would I have a problem? You make Daddy happy and that's all that matters, right?" Later that night, I tried talking to Steve. "I think Samara's having trouble adjusting to us." He was reading in bed, glasses perched on his nose. "She's trying her best, honey. It's a big change for everyone." "She deliberately excluded me today. That's not like her at all." He set his book down. "She's a good kid, Michaela. Maybe you're being a little sensitive." I wanted to argue, but the gentle concern in his eyes made me swallow my words. This man had lost his wife, raised his daughter alone, and finally found happiness again. Who was I to disrupt that? But standing here now, holding this anonymous note that isn't anonymous at all, I recognise the precise creases, the same way Samara folds her napkins at dinner. I realise I've been naive. The woman who teaches art to children 4 days a week, who fell in love with a grieving man's smile, who thought patience and kindness would be enough. She needs to wake up. My phone buzzes. A text from Samara. "Hope you're having a lovely evening." I take a photo of the note and save it to a hidden folder on my phone. Then I walk to the kitchen, drop the paper into the garbage disposal, and flip the switch. The grinding sound is oddly satisfying. too can play at this game of perfect pretense, but I won't be the one who loses. You need to see this. Naomi's voice crackled through my phone as I finished setting up for my afternoon art class. Check Samara's TikTok now. I found the video easily enough. It had already racked up thousands of views. Samara sat in her perfectly lit room, tears glistening in her eyes as she spoke directly to the camera. It's so hard watching someone you love being manipulated, she said, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. Especially when they can't see it themselves, when they're still grieving and vulnerable, and certain people just swoop in. The comments flooded in beneath. Stay strong, girl. We know exactly who you're talking about. Some women are just predators for far. My hand shook as I closed the app. 3 students were already arriving for class, their parents chatting by the door. I plastered on my teacher smile and tried to focus on colour theory and brush techniques for the next hour. You can't let her get away with this, Naomi said later over coffee. She's literally building a following by destroying your reputation. What am I supposed to do? Steve thinks she's just processing her grief through social media. Show him the videos. I stirred my latte absently. I tried. He says I'm reading too much into them, that she never mentions me by name. Because she's not stupid, Naomi scoffed. She's playing the long game. My phone buzzed. A direct message from Samara. You're not the first and you won't be the last to try and take my dad's money. I showed Naomi the message. Her eyes widened. Screenshot that. Screenshot everything. When I got home, Steve was in the kitchen making dinner. The domestic normalcy of it made my chest ache. How was your day? He asked, stirring pasta sauce. Fine. Samara posted another video about me. He sighed, setting down the spoon. Not about you, honey. She's just venting about life. She's building her brand. Her brand is destroying mine. I pulled out my phone. Look at these comments. Your sister Cecilia even like, please not tonight. He rubbed his temples. Can we just have one peaceful dinner? The doorbell rang. Samara breezed in with her boyfriend Logan, all smiles and designer perfume. Daddy, I brought wine. She air-kissed Steve's cheek, then turned to me. Oh, Michaela, I didn't know you'd be home. Don't you usually teach late on Thursdays? It's Tuesday. Right, silly me. She pulled out her phone, already recording. Daddy, tell everyone what you're cooking. My followers love your sauce recipe. I watched her film, noticed how she kept me just out of frame. Later, I checked her story. A perfect family dinner scene, no stepmother in sight. The next morning, my student's mother approached me after class, looking uncomfortable. I saw some concerning things online, she started, about you and your situation. What situation? Well, there's this influencer I follow, and she posted about predatory women targeting wealthy widowers. She trailed off, avoiding my eyes. That night, I called my friend Tyrell, Naomi's brother who works in tech. I need to know what else she's saying about me, I told him. Everything. Give me an hour, he replied. He sent me links to private YouTube vlogs, TikTok drafts, Instagram stories where Samara had tagged me but hidden the post from my account. In one video, she acted out a skit portraying a gold-digger stepmother wearing a black wig that looked suspiciously like my hair. Thanks for the evidence, I texted him. Evidence for what? I haven't decided yet. I was downloading everything when Steve came home early. He looked tired, his tie loose. Cecilia called, he said, sitting heavily on the couch. She thinks we should revisit the prenup. I stared at him. The prenup we already signed? The one where I explicitly waived any claim to your assets? She's just concerned. About what? That I'll steal the money I already legally gave up any right to? Michaela, please, his voice cracked. Everyone's just trying to protect you. I stood up. Or Samara's growing follower count. He reached for me, but I stepped back. On my phone, another notification popped up. Samara had posted a new TikTok. The caption read, "When your father's new wife shows her true colours, toxic, stepmom, la narcissist, la family trauma." I watched the view count climb, each number another nail in the coffin of my reputation. But something had shifted inside me. Where there had been hurt, now there was steel. Let her build her audience. Let her spin her stories. She had no idea what kind of evidence I was gathering or how loud the truth could be when it finally broke silence. "Wait, play that part again." I leaned closer to Terrell's laptop screen, watching a spliced video of myself at last month's family dinner. The footage had been carefully edited. Me reaching for my wineglass became a dismissive hand wave. A tired sigh was reframed as an eye roll. My polite, "Excuse me, to use the bathroom" was cut to look like I'd stormed off in anger. "She's getting better at this," Terrell muttered, clicking through more videos. "Look, she's even adding sad background music now." The comment section was brutal. "Poor girl, having to watch her dad be manipulated like this. Gold diggers always show their true colours eventually. Your mum would be so disappointed in him." My phone buzzed. "Naomi, turn on Instagram live now." I opened the app to find Samara and Logan doing a Q&A session from their perfectly staged living room. "Someone asked about the stepmom situation," Logan read from the comments, his arm around Samara. "Babe, do you want to address that?" Samara dabbed at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. I never thought I'd have to watch someone take advantage of my father's grief, you know. Mum's only been gone 2 years. "And now you're thinking about turning this into a podcast," Logan prompted. "Yes, stepmom stories when families get invaded. We're already talking to sponsors." I closed the app, feeling sick. "They're monetizing this." "Of course they are," Terrell said. "Drama sells." My phone rang. Steve's sister, Cecilia. I let it go to voicemail, already knowing what she'd say. She'd been not so subtly suggesting I was after Steve's money since the wedding. The voicemail proved me right. "Michaela, dear, I've been thinking about what's best for the family. Perhaps we should discuss your financial arrangements with Steve. Over lunch?" I deleted it and opened my hidden folder, the one containing screenshots from 6 months ago before the wedding. There it was, the message from Samara I'd never shown Steve. $50,000 cash, walk away now and everyone wins. Stay, and I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of woman you are. I'd kept the voice note too, her sweet voice turning venomous. Daddy deserves someone better than a gold-digging art teacher. Name your price. A knock at my door made me jump. Logan stood there, looking uncomfortable. "Can we talk?" I crossed my arms. "About your exciting new podcast?" "Look, Samara's just protecting her family. You have to understand." "I understand you're helping her destroy my reputation for views and sponsorship deals." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "She's grieving. This is how she processes." "By lying?" "By telling her truth." He ran a hand through his hair. "Look, just maybe consider taking a step back, for everyone's sake." I pulled out my phone and played his voice note from last week. "Babe, we could totally destroy her online. Think of the engagement we'd get." His face paled. "Where did you get that?" "I learned from the best. Now get out of my classroom." That evening, Steve was waiting in the kitchen when I got home. "Cecilia's hosting a family dinner next week. She thinks it's time we all clear the air." "Clear the air about what?" "About—" He gestured vaguely. "Everything. The tension, the social media stuff. She says we need to heal as a family." I thought about Samara's growing follower count, about Cecilia's thinly veiled accusations, about Logan's practiced concern. "Fine," I said. "Let's clear the air." Steve looked relieved. "Thank you, honey. I know things have been hard, but Samara's trying. She even took down some of those videos you were worried about." I didn't tell him she'd already reposted them on a private account with twice the followers. Instead, I kissed his cheek and went upstairs to call Naomi. "They're planning an intervention," I told her, "at Cecilia's house." "Perfect," she said. "That's exactly what we need." "What do you mean?" "Think about it. They'll all be there, ready to ambush you. But what if you're the one who's prepared?" I opened my laptop, looking at the folders of evidence I'd been collecting. Screenshots, voice notes, unedited videos showing the truth behind Samara's carefully crafted narrative. "You're right," I said. "If they want to clear the air, let's clear it all." My phone pinged with a new TikTok notification. Samara's latest video showed her holding an old photo of her mother, tears streaming down her face. The caption read, "Sometimes the worst monsters come disguised as stepmothers. Part 1 of my story coming soon. Justice Foreman." I closed the app and opened my email instead, typing, "Dear Mr. Harrison, I need to consult with a defamation lawyer. When can we meet?" The time for silence was over. They wanted to tell stories. Fine. But they'd forgotten one crucial detail. I had receipts for every single lie. Steve's birthday dinner felt like walking into an ambush dressed as a celebration. The restaurant's private room was decorated with photos from family moments, conspicuously featuring only Steve, Samara, and her late mother Sarah. My presence was a carefully curated absence. "Speech time!" Cecilia clinked her glass as dessert arrived. "Samara wants to say a few words." Samara stood, her designer dress catching the light, phone propped discreetly on the table to record. "Daddy, this is your first birthday since everything changed." I watched Steve's face soften as she continued. "Mum always made your birthdays so special. Remember how she'd spend weeks planning the perfect surprise?" Samara's voice cracked perfectly. "She'd want you to be happy, even if some people rushed into your life too soon, trying to replace her." The silence that followed was deafening. Every eye in the room darted between Samara's tears and my face. "To Dad," she finished, raising her glass. "And to Mum, who's watching over us, probably wondering why her shoes were filled so quickly." Cecilia sniffled loudly. Logan squeezed Samara's hand. Steve stared at his plate. "Michaela?" Cecilia's voice dripped honey-coated venom. "Would you like to say anything?" Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A message from Tyrell. "Check your email now. Found her secret YouTube channel. You need to see this." "Excuse me," I murmured, stepping out to the restaurant's lobby. The video Tyrell sent made my blood run cold. Samara, in her bedroom, performing a crude impression of me. She'd dyed a cheap wig to match my hair colour, drawn on exaggerated makeup. "Oh, Steve," she simpered in a mocking voice, "I just love your big house and your big bank account. Who cares if your daughter hates me? I'll just gaslight you until you choose me over her." The video had thousands of views, hundreds of supportive comments. "There you are." Naomi appeared beside me, having arrived late to the dinner. She glanced at my phone. "Oh God, is that her latest masterpiece?" "Yes." "Why are you still here?" Naomi grabbed my arm. "Why are you letting them write your story?" "Because I'm gathering evidence," I whispered. "Building a case." "For what? A lawsuit? While they destroy your life in real time?" Back in the private room, Steve was opening presents. Samara handed him an envelope with flourish. "What's this?" he asked. "Tickets to Mum's favourite vineyard in Napa?" She beamed. "For your anniversary weekend next month, just you and me like old times." I watched Steve's face light up, even as he glanced guiltily in my direction. "Sweetheart, that's—" But Michaela and I had plans. "Oh." Samara's lower lip trembled. "I just thought, since it was Mum's special place. But of course, if you'd rather go with—" "No," I cut in, my voice steady. "You two should go. It's perfect." Samara's triumphant smile flickered across her face before morphing back to practice concern. Are you sure? We wouldn't want to exclude you. Again? The subtle dig made several guests shift uncomfortably. Actually, Logan chimed in, we're thinking of filming some content there about healing from loss, preserving family traditions. How convenient, I said softly. After dinner, in the parking lot, I heard Logan and Samara talking by their car. The video hit 50,000 views, he said. The podcast sponsors are definitely interested now. Perfect timing, Samara replied. Once Daddy sees how many people support us, he'll have to choose, her or me. I pulled out my phone and pressed stop on the voice recorder app. Another piece of evidence for my growing collection. At home, Steve tried to apologize about the Napa tickets. I'll tell her we can go another time. No. I touched his cheek gently. Go with your daughter. Make memories. You're amazing, he said, kissing my forehead. I don't know what I did to deserve you. As he headed upstairs, my phone lit up with a notification. Samara had posted the dinner speech video, expertly edited to remove context. The caption read, "When your father's special day gets hijacked by someone who doesn't understand family values." Toxic, stepmom, slow boundaries. I opened my hidden folder and added today's recordings to the file labelled Birthday Dinner. Then I texted Tyrell. I need everything from that YouTube channel, every video, every comment, every timestamp. His response came quickly. Already downloading, but Michaela, there's worse stuff, way worse. Show me everything. Because that's the thing about social media warriors. They get cocky. They forget that digital footprints are forever. And while Samara was building her army of followers, I was building something much more dangerous. The truth. Everything's time-stamped and backed up in triplicate, Terrell said, sliding a USB drive across the coffee shop table. Screenshots, videos, DMs, even the deleted stuff. She's not as tech-savvy as she thinks. I pocketed the drive. And the money trail? Got that too. The sponsorship contracts, the brand deals she's landing because of her evil stepmom content. She's making serious cash off destroying you. My lawyer, Mr. Harrison, reviewed the evidence the next morning. His office smelled of leather and authority. This is comprehensive, he said, scrolling through my documentation. The bribe attempt alone is damning, but combined with the coordinated harassment campaign and financial records. He looked up. Why haven't you shown this to your husband? Because I need to be strategic. They're planning some kind of intervention at Cecilia's house next week. Ah, he nodded. You want to let them throw the first punch? I want them to throw all their punches. Then I want to show everyone exactly who's been lying. Outside his office, I got a text from Steve. Samara's upset, says you blocked her on Instagram. I hadn't, of course. She'd blocked me and was playing victim. Again? My phone rang. Naomi. Logan's at the cafe where I work. Alone. Want me to spill coffee on him? No, I said, already grabbing my keys. But keep him there. I found Logan nursing an Americano, typing on his laptop. His influencer smile faltered when I sat down. We need to talk. I'm actually working. On the podcast, the one about evil stepmothers. I pulled out my phone. Let's discuss your role in all this. I'm just supporting my girlfriend. I pressed play. Babe, we could totally destroy her online. Think of the engagement we'd get. His face went pale. I played another clip. Him coaching Samara on how to edit videos to make me look worse, discussing sponsorship strategies, planning the accidental social media war. Where did you... I learned from you guys, I said sweetly. Always be recording, right? What do you want? I want you to think very carefully about your next moves, because when this all comes out, and it will come out, you might want to be on the right side of the story. His hands shook slightly as he closed his laptop. Samara's just protecting her family. No, Samara's monetizing her grief and destroying my life for views, and you're helping her. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. Now go tell your girlfriend I said hello. That evening, Cecilia called. We're having a family dinner next Thursday. Everyone will be there. We need to discuss some concerns. Of course, I said smoothly. I'll bring dessert. Steve was in his study when I got home, looking stressed. Honey, about this dinner at Cecilia's. It's fine, I said. It's time we cleared the air. Samara's just worried about changes in the family dynamic. I touched his cheek gently. I know exactly what Samara's worried about. My phone buzzed, a notification that Samara had posted new TikTok content. The thumbnail showed her crying, holding a photo of her mother. Caption, when toxic people try to erase your mum's memory. Full story coming soon. Narcissistic bus. I forwarded it to Tyrell, who replied immediately, added to the file. BTW found something interesting. She's been doing this before, to other women. What? There are deleted videos from 2 years ago. Similar story, different target. Your predecessor, the woman your husband dated before you, Samara ran her off too. Same playbook. I sat down heavily on the couch. Find her. Already did. Want her number? An hour later, I was on the phone with Jessica, Steve's ex-girlfriend. Her voice shook as she told me everything. The social media harassment, the gaslighting, the final orchestrated intervention that made her leave. I should have fought back, she said, but I just couldn't handle it. I'm fighting back, I told her. Would you be willing to help? Send me the details. I'll send you screenshots of everything I saved. That night, I organised all the evidence into a single presentation. Samara's videos, Logan's admissions, the financial records, Jessica's story, the bribe attempt, everything. I saved it to multiple drives and cloud accounts. My phone lit up with a text from Cecilia. Dinner Thursday at 7. We're all very concerned about your influence on this family. I smiled, thinking of the manila folders I'd prepared, the timestamps, the receipts, the testimonies. They thought they were staging an intervention. They had no idea they were walking into their own exposure party. Looking forward to it, I texted back. We have so much to discuss. Cecilia's dining room felt like a courtroom. The long table was set with her best china, everyone positioned like players in a well-rehearsed drama. Steve sat at one end, looking uncomfortable. Samara and Logan flanked Cecilia at the other end, phones discreetly positioned to record. My manila folder sat in my bag like a loaded gun. Before we eat, Cecilia announced, standing, Steve has something to say. Steve cleared his throat. I know there's been tension in our family, but we need healing, unity. He looked at me pleadingly. We're all here because we love each other. Samara dabbed at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. Daddy, I've been trying so hard to make this work, but what, sweetheart? I can't stay silent anymore. She pulled out a stack of papers. I've documented everything. The way she isolates you, controls the narrative, tries to erase Mum's memory. That's not true, I said quietly. See? Samara's voice cracked perfectly. She always deflects, always makes me look like the villain. Did you know she blocked me on Instagram, my own stepmother blocking me from seeing family photos? I caught Logan's slight smirk. He knew exactly who had blocked whom. And the way she refused to come to Mum's memorial garden dedication, Cecilia added. I was never told about it, I said. More deflection, Samara whispered dramatically. Daddy, remember when she insisted on redecorating Mum's art room? That was your idea, I said. You specifically asked me to help. Stop twisting everything. Samara stood up, tears flowing. This is exactly what she does. Makes me look crazy, makes everything my fault. Michaela, Steve's voice was strained. Maybe if you just apologized. For what? I asked softly. For loving you, for trying to build a life with you, for keeping quiet while your daughter systematically destroyed my reputation for profit. Profit? Cecilia scoffed. What are you talking about? Should we discuss the sponsorship deals, the podcast plans, the YouTube revenue? Samara's face flickered with uncertainty for the first time. Or maybe, I continued, we should talk about the $50,000 you offered me to leave Steve before the wedding. The room went silent. That's ridiculous, Cecilia sputtered. Samara would never... I pulled out my phone and played the voice note. Daddy deserves someone better than a gold-digging art teacher. Name your price. Samara's face went white. That's edited. Like your TikToks? Your carefully spliced videos making me look abusive. I opened my folder. Speaking of which, let's watch some of your greatest hits. Stop, Logan said suddenly. You don't want to do this. Actually, I do. I looked at Steve. Would you like to see what your daughter's been posting? The skits where she mocks me, the sponsored content about evil stepmothers, the private YouTube channel with thousands of subscribers. Daddy, she's lying. The same way you lied to Jessica, I asked. Steve's girlfriend before me, the one you drove away with the exact same playbook? Steve's head snapped up. What? Tell them, Samara. Tell them about the pattern, the social media harassment, the gaslighting, the orchestrated family interventions. Jessica sent me everything. Who's Jessica? Cecilia demanded. The woman Steve dated 2 years ago. The one Samara claimed was disrespecting Mum's memory until she finally left. I spread screenshots across the table. Sound familiar? Logan stood up abruptly. I should go. Sit down, I said. Your part in this is well documented too. Samara's tears had stopped. Her face was hard now, calculating. Everything I did was to protect our family. No, I said. Everything you did was to maintain control and make money doing it. I pulled out more papers, sponsorship contracts, revenue reports, brand deal negotiations. You've made quite a profit from destroying my life. How much was the podcast deal worth? Samara, Steve's voice was barely a whisper. Is this true? She tried to reach for him, but he pulled away. I did it for Mum, she insisted. These women trying to replace her. Your mother would be ashamed, Steve said, standing up. Using her memory to hurt innocent people, monetizing our grief? Daddy, please, I think, I said quietly, you should leave now. This is a family dinner, Cecilia protested weakly. Yes, I agreed, standing up. And family shouldn't destroy each other for TikTok views. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my wedding ring. The diamond caught the light as I set it gently on the table. Neither should wives have to endure abuse to prove their love. The silence was deafening as I walked to the door. Behind me, I heard Samara's voice, small and uncertain for the first time. Daddy? But Steve didn't answer. The only sound was his quiet weeping. I paused at the threshold, not turning around. Truth isn't vengeance, I said softly. It's justice with a paper trail. Then I walked out, leaving them with the weight of every exposed lie. The aftermath exploded like a digital wildfire. I was in Naomi's guest room when Samara's empire began to crumble. Her followers are turning on her, Tyrell said, scrolling through his laptop. Someone leaked clips from her private YouTube channel, the ones where she mocks you, plans the harassment campaigns. Someone? Naomi raised an eyebrow at her brother. He shrugged. The internet works in mysterious ways. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since I left Cecilia's house. Steve's calls, Cecilia's texts, Logan's desperate attempts at damage control. I ignored them all. Look at this! Naomi thrust her phone at me. Samara had gone live on Instagram, mascara streaking down her face. These accusations are completely false, she sobbed to her viewers. My stepmother is trying to destroy our family. She's twisting everything. The comments scrolled fast. Show us the unedited videos then. We saw the receipt, sis. Did you really offer her money to leave? Logan appeared in the frame, trying to end the stream. Babe, maybe we should... No, I have to explain. Samara pushed him away. My followers understand. They know I'm protecting my father. By monetizing his grief? A new comment appeared. I've unfollowed all your sponsors. One by one, her brand deals started falling. The podcast network pulled their offer. Her carefully curated content empire was imploding in real time. My phone rang. Jessica, Steve's ex. I posted my story, she said. Other women are coming forward too. Apparently, we're not the only ones she's done this to. A knock at Naomi's door made us all jump. Steve stood there, looking destroyed. Can we talk? I nodded to Naomi and Tyrell, who quietly left the room. I found Samara's contract with the podcast network, he said, sitting heavily on the couch. They were going to pay her 6 figures for a series about toxic stepmothers destroying families. I know. She's been doing this for years, not just to you and Jessica. There were others, women I barely dated. She'd start her campaigns before I could even get serious with anyone. I know that too. He pulled out my wedding ring. I failed you. I chose to believe what was comfortable instead of what was true. Yes, you did. Cecilia enabled her. We all did. He tried to hand me the ring. Please come home. We can fix this. I closed his fingers around the ring. No, Steve, we can't. Michaela, you watched her destroy me. You dismissed every concern, every piece of evidence. You chose your daughter's lies over your wife's truth. She's my daughter. And I was your wife. Was that worth nothing? My phone buzzed again. Samara had posted a new video, this time with Cecilia beside her. These attacks on my daughter are unconscionable, Cecilia declared. This family stands united. The comments were brutal. Girl, give it up. We've seen the evidence. Stop gaslighting everyone. Steve watched, his face crumpling. What have we done? You let her weaponize grief, I said softly. You helped her turn your late wife's memory into a shield for abuse. Sarah would have hated this, he whispered. All of it. Another notification. Logan had posted his own video. I need to come clean about my role in creating false narratives. Samara's response was immediate. How dare you betray me like this? The truth was always going to come out, I told Steve. I just made sure it came out on my terms. He stood up slowly, looking every bit his age. What happens now? Now, I rebuild my life. You help your daughter face the consequences of her actions, and we both learn to live with our choices. My phone lit up with a message from an unexpected source, a women's advocacy group wanting me to speak about digital harassment and family trauma. They're not the only ones, Terrell called from the other room. Your story's going viral. People want to hear your side. Steve moved toward the door, then paused. I really did love you. I know, but love without protection is just permission for pain. After he left, I opened my laptop and began to write. Not for TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, but for myself. The true story, unedited and raw. When I married a widower, I didn't just marry his grief. I married a carefully constructed narrative that had no room for truth. The words flowed easily now. No more silence, no more carefully crafted responses. Just the honest, messy reality of what happens when social media becomes a weapon and family becomes its ammunition. My phone buzzed one last time. Samara. You've ruined everything. I typed back a final response. No, you did that all by yourself. I just showed everyone the receipts. Then I blocked her number and kept writing, because some stories need to be told even when they break our hearts in the telling. We have time for one more question, the moderator announced to the packed auditorium. Yes, the young woman in the blue sweater. I adjusted my microphone, scanning the sea of faces that had just heard my story. After everything that happened, the woman asked, "Do you regret marrying Steve?" "No," I said honestly. "I regret staying silent for so long. There's a difference." The applause was warm as I left the stage. Naomi waited in the wings, scrolling through her phone. "Samara posted again," she said. "Still playing victim? Some people will never understand the pain of watching your family be torn apart." How many likes? 12. Her new account can barely break 20 views now. In the green room, I found more speaking invitations, interview requests, and a message from my publisher about the book deal. But the email that caught my eye was from Steve. "Samara's agreed to therapy, real therapy, not social media performances. I should have insisted years ago. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just letting you know she's finally facing consequences." My phone buzzed. "Jessica, you're trending again. That speech was incredible." "Thanks for being there today," I typed back. "Your story matters too." "Did you see Logan's documentary trailer? The one exposing influencer manipulation?" I had. He'd turned whistleblower, using his insider knowledge to reveal how content creators weaponized family trauma for views. Samara featured prominently in the examples, though not by name. "Michaela!" A timid voice made me look up. A woman stood in the doorway, twisting her hands nervously. "I'm Rachel. I was almost Steve's wife. Before you. Before Jessica." "Come in," I said softly. She sat down, eyes welling up. "When I saw your Medium article, then the videos of your speech, I couldn't believe someone finally exposed her. I thought I was crazy back then." "You weren't crazy. You were gaslit." "I kept everything," she said, pulling out her phone. "Every message, every post. I was too scared to use them then, but now—" "Send them to this email." I showed her my lawyer's contact. "We're building a case for a class action lawsuit against platforms that enable targeted harassment." Rachel wiped her eyes. "I never thought I'd feel validated. Thank you." After she left, Naomi poked her head in. "Ready for dinner? Tyrell's treating us to celebrate your TED Talk going viral." "Actually," I said, "I need to make one stop first." The art supply store was about to close when I walked in. I filled my basket with brushes, paints, and blank canvases. "Starting a new project?" the cashier asked. "Starting over," I replied. My new apartment was smaller than Steve's house, but filled with more truth. I set up the easel by the window, where the sunset painted the sky in defiant colours. My phone lit up with a notification. Cecilia had finally broken her silence with a public apology. I enabled behaviour that hurt innocent people. I chose loyalty to lies over responsibility to truth. Another message popped up, this one from a women's shelter. "Your story is helping our clients recognise digital abuse patterns. Would you consider running a workshop?" I looked at my empty canvas, then started painting. Not Sarah's memory, or Samara's lies, or Steve's grief. Just colours, bold and honest, bleeding into each other without apology. My doorbell rang. Naomi with takeout. "You're missing your own celebration dinner." Had to start something first. I gestured to the canvas. She studied the emerging artwork. "What is it?" "Freedom," I said. "In primary colours." My phone buzzed again. A message from a stranger. "Your story saved my life. I was trapped in my own Samara situation. Today, I packed my bags and chose myself." "They wanted me to disappear," I told Naomi, adding a streak of defiant red to my painting. I decided to take the microphone instead. And now? I stepped back, looking at the canvas, chaos and beauty, pain and healing, all mixed together in unapologetic strokes. "Now, I paint my own story," I said. "No filters, no edits, No one else's narrative. Speaking of narratives, Naomi held up her phone. Samara had deleted all her social media accounts. Her final post simply read, "I'm sorry for everything." "Do you believe her?" Naomi asked. I dipped my brush in yellow, adding light to the darkness. I believe in consequences. I believe in growth. But mostly, I believe in telling the truth, even when it costs you everything. And what truth is that? I smiled, signing my name at the bottom of the canvas. Not as Steve's wife or Samara's victim, but as myself. Just Michaela, standing in her own light. That silence isn't peace, I said. It's permission, and I'm done giving either.